It's time to plant some cotton. Can't begin to tell you all the things we got going wrong out here. Apparently we're having some kind of a bad reaction with the chemicals we're spraying.
Now I have to take all strainers off and clean them tonight. We didn't get as much as we wanted to get done, but it is what it is.
Got to bed at about 1:30, back up at 5:35. Second cup of coffee this morning.
I tried recalibrating it multiple times and something is wrong with the synchronizers. I just don't have a lot of options right now. Hopefully tomorrow will go a little bit smoother than today.
Really wishing I had a 5-hour energy shot in my lunchbox.
Alright guys, not a whole lot to talk about, not much going on. We're just still putting seed in the ground, so I'll take this time just to give you a little bit of a speech on the environment and kind of what we're doing out here with all these cover crops. I ran these numbers a few years back, and as you can tell, we're planting into some really thick cover crops that have been growing since last September. What I figured out, based on the amount of biomass that we've measured, this 48-acre field that we're in has sequestered about 375 metric tons of carbon. It's pulled that out of the air, and that carbon is now stored in those plants. 375 metric tons of carbon. You say, well, I guess that sounds like a lot, but it really doesn't mean much to me, and it really doesn't mean much to me either. But pulling this much carbon out of the air is equivalent to taking roughly 80 cars off the road for an entire year. All of this cover crop that's grown for the last 7-8 months, there's 80 cars worth less of carbon emissions in the air now than there was before this cover crop was planted. Just think of every acre in America had a cover crop grown on it in the winter. Now granted, not everybody would be able to grow this amount of biomass. Up north, got a shorter growing season, it's not going to accumulate as much biomass. Down south, it might accumulate more. Now the ground we plant corn on, since we terminated earlier, it hasn't accumulated as much biomass. But just think, the potential of if every acre the cropland had a cover crop planted on the winter, how much carbon could we sequester out of the atmosphere? I mean, usually there's somewhere around, I think, 90 to 93 million acres of corn planted in the U.S. I want to say there's usually somewhere around 75 million acres of soybeans planted in the U.S. And that's not counting corn, wheat, and all the other crops that are grown. So just imagine if every acre, I don't know how many total cropland acres are in the U.S., but just imagine if every acre had a cover crop growing on it, producing some amount of biomass, how much cleaner we can make the air. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the global warming and all that. I'm not an extremist or anything. I don't actually know if the world's getting warmer. Heck, this spring I'd say the world's getting colder. As much cool, wet weather as we've dealt with, and it seems like that's been a trend for the last 10 years. I remember when I was a kid, we were planting cotton in hot, dry conditions, the first middle part of May with no problem. Because usually it took us about 2 weeks total to plant all of our cotton, and we were planting all that time. We weren't dealing with all this cold, wet weather that we've been dealing with in May for the last 10 years. So I don't know if the world's getting warmer or not, or whatever. I do know that we are putting a lot more carbon in the atmosphere than was there before. I do know that. We're burning fossil fuels, which is made of carbon, and that's carbon that's been stored in the ground for millions of years. We are burning that carbon and putting it into the atmosphere. Our operation really isn't making a dent in the grand scheme of things, but we're trying to showcase to everybody in the country, even across the world, what we're doing on this farm to better the environment. You know, in addition to educating the general public about what it takes to actually run a farm, what's involved in actually producing a crop, we want to also educate other farmers and the general public on agriculture's potential for improving the environment. It's something that we're very passionate about. So I just thought I'd throw those few facts out there for you and let you think about them a bit. And if you're an actual landowner, you have someone farming your ground, I'd like to encourage you to talk to your farmer about looking into planting a cover crop. You know, starting small, don't have to do like the way I'm doing it. And in fact, the way I do it, it's not necessarily going to work for everybody. But I encourage you to talk to your farmer about, you know, at least looking into the possibility of planting something during the winter to save the soil, rebuild the soil, and sequester carbon out of the atmosphere.
Alrighty, I'm finished with this field. I'm now headed back to the shop. No, wait. I'm going to my parents' house now, and I'm going to spray the rest of this load out. I'm going to park, then I'm going to go back to the shop. Wait, what was this supposed to do? Okay, take 2 or 3, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to my parents' house. I'm going to spray the last of this load out, and then there's 44 acres there. Then I'm going back to the shop. Probably gonna get my dad to come bring me over here to get the water truck, put that behind their house, then go back to the shop and clean out the main strainers. We're still having problems, so.
Live.
Alright, we're rocking and rolling on this Sunday. First farm took way longer than I wanted it to, just because it was so tight and so rough. Just didn't feel like beating myself up. We've got about 115 acres knocked out so far. Got another 58 acre farm we're moving to now. Matt's about 30 acres behind me, which is right about the sweet spot where we like it to be. Not too far behind, but far enough to where I don't feel like I've got to beat the crap out of the tractor and crimper to stay ahead of it. But we should, 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight, should have about 165, 170 acres knocked out today, which is a good chunk. We're gonna get moved down here to the last farm of the day and see if we can get it laid down, and try to get home before midnight tonight. Got Ernie out here today, staying ahead of us on spreading the litter after his little incident last night, or 2 nights ago. He's got his spreader up and going, and he's been rocking and rolling since about lunch today.
I don't even know where I left off. The day, like, turned weird. There was a problem at the house I had to go help Carter with, and then there was some drama. Then I had to come back and sit at the shop because we didn't know if Ernie was going to be able to spread more chicken litter on this one farm, but turns out he came back and everything was fine, said it was purring like a kitten. So he is now spreading the farm we were going to go to next, but Matt doesn't want to go plant it because he says it's going to be ripe. I don't care. Let's get this done. So now we're going to another farm that's 56 acres, and I'm gonna go spray that and then be done for the night. It's 5:30. I should hopefully be done in 2 hours. I've already pre-mixed my chemicals, so that way when I am ready to go, I just can fill up and go. And then hopefully get back and attempt to eat something other than pretzel chips for dinner. We're probably just gonna have whatever we can find and put in a microwave. So it's a very long day. I honestly thought it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I looked and it was only 5:30. But we're getting there. The acres are slowly getting checked off the list, so.
I just got done with the center place. Another 48 acres in the book. Man, I wish I could get my drone up this evening. It's gonna be a pretty sunset. Fortunately, we're in between fields. We're heading over to Ed Smith's farm. Got 56 acres to do there, and I think that's going to be what I'm going to try and get done tonight. We had one more 29-acre farm I was wanting to get done to get us to that 200-acre mark, but it would require another extremely late night. We're tired and whooped, and if I got that done, I'd be called up to the chicken litter guy, and we wouldn't be able to get an early start tomorrow morning. So we're going to save it for tomorrow morning. Thank God his truck fired up, and he got all the litter spreads that they've got hauled out here so far. So he's right now he's about 85 acres in front of me. So we get this 56 acres done and leave us with about 29, 30 acres before we're caught up with them. And it's a several hour trip down from Union City to get more litter hauls, so they probably won't have any more out here until about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the earliest. So really no point in us working late tonight. Anyway, good thing I came prepared tonight. I packed a bunch of goodies in my lunchbox, so I think I got enough fuel to get this last 56 acres done today. I tell you one thing, it sure is a lot nicer moving equipment on a Sunday though. Traffic just ain't as bad. We can make a little bit quicker time. Oh golly, Bill, I need to start a petition to Madison County to repair some of these county roads. As soon as we cross the county line, you can tell because the road quality goes to crap. Country roads matter too. Maybe I'll make that to a hashtag. Oh, sometimes you gotta get out and stretch your legs. Anybody got any solutions for sciatic nerve pain? Been having problems with mine for, the last 4 years or so, ever since it flared up. Never really has gone away completely. Try to get a steroid shot and pack, I don't know, about twice a year. Ease it up a little bit. I tried stretching, nothing really seems to help, but sitting in tractor long days, it ain't good for it, that's for sure. Anyway, got about 18 acres down on this farm, about 38 more to go. I think it's time to raid my lunchbox for any goodies I got left over. Well guys, that is it for today. We just got done with this farm. It is 12:13 a.m. I am whooped. We didn't get the 200 acres done today as one to. We still had a heck of a day. We got 171 acres covered. So that leaves us tomorrow with 188 acres to get all of our cotton planted. If we pull it off tomorrow, it's definitely going to be a long day. Don't know if it'll be possible or not. A lot of it depends on the chicken litter, whether they can get it all spread tomorrow. I'm so tired right now, I can't even think of what I need to say. So anyway guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna get this thing into the shop and get my rear end of the house. I'm ready for bed. Hey, good morning. We're back at it again. Got Kelly and Zach's service filled up and ready to go. Got water truck and seed moved over to the field where we're going to need it at. I finally got everything. Every time I want to talk, somebody comes on the radio. I finally got everything service filled up, ready to go. Kelly and Zach got a little bit of a head start on me. I'm gonna head over and plant my cover crop termination plots. We got 36 rows in the middle of the cornfield. One of the cornfields that we planted extra. I was planning on planting the cotton, and we'd already gotten the termination trials started whenever I decided to plant corn. So I left 36 acres out in the middle of the cornfield. We're gonna go plant it and head back up to where they're at and see if we can't catch up with them. We got about 180 acres left to do today, but the good thing is the forecast is not looking as dire as what it was yesterday. They've taken a lot of the rain chance out. We're still probably going to get rain tonight and tomorrow, but they're only calling for a quarter to half an inch, and then it's supposed to be sunny and hot after that, whereas before they were calling for like 4 to 5 days straight of rain. So if I don't get done today, definitely not going to be the end of the world. And as tired as we are, I mean, we've had 2 really late nights. I mean, we're whooped. we're just gonna plant till a normal time today, and then whatever we got done, and whatever's left to do, we'll get it done whenever it dries up.
You gotta love cruise control. No hands. We have very few farms that have this, but so pretty. Wee. Whoa. Yeah, no, my window needs to be washed. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, Matt fixed this, but ooh, way better than last year.
Well, looks like we might not get as much of today in as what I thought we would. There's already rain showers in the area. Not heavy rain, probably not enough to knock us out unless we get one of those bigger green patches. I just told Kelly to spray out what's in her tank and get it empty, and then hold up until I get a lot closer to caught up. Because the last thing we want is be rained out for a day or two and have all that stuff sitting up in the tank. Right now she's about 23 acres in front of me. That's going to be a solid hour planting for me. We'll keep tabs on it, keep our fingers crossed that it goes around us. Fun all day. We breathing this in. It's all of a sudden gotten crowded over here. We got moved over here to Ferguson, and because of incoming rain, Kelly and Zach are right there together, and I'm not far behind them. And we got the chicken litter guy over here trying to get the rest of my cotton ground spread. You think on 86 acres everybody keep out of everybody else's way, but sometimes it's not quite that easy. I think we'll get it figured out though. Now, how can I tell you that it's getting close to summer without actually telling you it's getting close to summer? How about I show you all the bug spots on my drone? Apparently bugs are either attracted to this thing or it just likes to eat them. I don't know what. It's got a little cleanup job to do though. Well, it only took us most of the way through planting to finally get this stuff figured out. But for once, believe it or not, we are running smoothly with not really any problems going on. It's kind of nice. Every once in a blue moon, you get a good day on the farm, it seems like. I've learned to appreciate them when they come, as rare as they may be. So far the weather's held off. We got a few sprinkles on the windshield. No big deal though. I know there's probably more on the way late this evening or tonight and tomorrow. So far we got about 60 acres done today. We only got about another 120 to go to get done. But like I said earlier this morning, it ain't gonna happen today. There's really just not any need for it. I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of my cover crop this year. Last couple 3 years, cover crop's kind of gone in the same direction that our wheat crop has. It just hadn't been that good because of how wet it's been during the winter. But hadn't been as wet this winter. Heck, it's been wetter late this spring than it was all winter long. Cover crop, didn't suffer, didn't get drowned out. And we got for the most part, all over, we got a real good thick stand. I'll be really excited to see how good the weed suppression is going to be from it this year. Maybe it won't be like the last 3 years where we've had to almost constantly scout every evening for pigweeds and stuff and get rid of them. Now, Kelly just hollered at me on the radio. She's out and wanted to know if I want her to mix up another load. Radar, rain is still holding off for now. Everything's looking good, but another load is going to be 50 acres worth of chemicals, so that means another 50 acres I got to get done planted today. I told her might as well. Been 2 late nights. Why don't we make it for 3 in a row? Anyway, we're about half done with this farm. Got about another 42 acres to go, then it'll be on to the last farm. Woohoo! Y'all see it? Y'all see it? I see it. Right up there. It's that light at the end of the tunnel. Getting closer. Little by little.
Starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Dwindling down on the acres. Got about 160 70 acres knocked out yesterday. Gonna try to stay about 15, 20 acres ahead of Matt. Hopefully they've got a pretty significant chance of rain. Supposed to come in late tonight, early tomorrow. I've had my cup of coffee already this morning, listening to my Off the Husk podcast to keep me awake, and we're gonna try to knock this last little bit out today. So holler at y'all later.
So you can't fold it up, and you can't raise the main frame up and down.
She's got a boom control system fault, BH1.001.
Kelly, I can't believe you broke the new sprayer.
No, I'm not messing with you on that. Let's just, who do we need to call to find out how to fix this?
I don't know, just text me what the fault code number is, and I'll call Tennessee Tractor and see if they can tell me what it refers to. Zach, do you know if there's a battery shut-off switch on that sprayer anywhere?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do next. Put it off, pull the power, give it 30 seconds and start it back.
Oh, hey, you see it up there? You see that light at the end of the tunnel? It's slowly fading away.
That's the track.
Yes, I need to speak to your service manager, please.
Services, Joey.
Joey, it's Matt Griggs of Griggs Farms. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
I've got a fault code on the booms of my 4038 sprayer here. Boom control system fault. See if you can tell me what it was.
Alright, left hand outer boom fold sensor voltage below normal or shorted to low source. First thing it says is check your wiring harnesses and connectors for damage. Unplug each connector out there on that end and see if you've got any corrosion on any of the connectors.
Try to work the booms. It also says something like you must unfold the booms before you can raise it up and down. So that kind of makes sense with that. If the sensor thinks that the wing is folded in, then it would disable everything else.
Yeah, that's what it thinks. It just thinks it's folded in. So it could be unplugged. It's probably going to be some kind of damage right there.
Says left boom fold sensor.
Yeah, that's been doing it for the last hour and a half.
Anyway, we got two
So why would you
potentiometers.
not make the whole entire thing go up and down?
Because if it thinks that the boom is folded up because the potentiometer is not working, it disables it. Inspect this wiring harness all the way.
What?
Inspect this wiring harness all the way down. Make sure it's not being pinched anywhere
This one right
or crimped. Yes. And after resetting it, it seems to be fine. Didn't find anything wrong with the booms or the harness sensor. Oh, and the wind is blowing right over here towards us. Was there a decent amount of grease on that electrical connector? The technician said the first thing we need to do is clean the electrical connections with contact cleaner because John Deere put way too much grease up in the connectors, and it caused it not to make good connection. So I don't have any cleaner. It's working. Let's just try and get through the rest of the day today, and we'll leave that for the shop. If it gets to where the booms completely won't work, then shut the power off and let it reset itself. So let's just do that, try to get through this afternoon, and then we'll deal with it when we get a chance.
Just when I think, oh, I'm almost done. No! I ran out of freaking solution. Oh. Now I gotta go all the way back and go fill up for literally like 4 acres, but look at that sunset. Oh, it's beautiful. And apparently the GPS over here is making my little tractor, when I turn it around, well, the sprayer, you can't see it, but when I turn around and I hit the auto track, it makes my tractor go backwards. So I've had to stop. And then at one point I tried to line up with that line and my tractor decided to circle. I really truly think there's a dude somewhere with a computer that is controlling this sprayer, and just for craps and giggles, so that he can just know that I'm frustrated and I'm screaming obscenities in this thing. And is it Beer Me 30 yet? I'm just asking for a friend.
We have sprinkles. Sprinkles are here. Not looking too promising down to the southwest. That's where it's all coming from. And Kelly is about 35 acres ahead of me. That's what I really need to get done today, because once this cover crop starts done, the planter does not slice through it very well. We get a bunch of hairpinning in the seed trench and seed not actually getting into the seed trench. So let's hope this holds off another few hours, because that's what I'm gonna need. Yeah, it looks like Zach just got done. I'm about an hour behind him on getting done. It's right at 9 o'clock, so hopefully about 10 o'clock I'll be heading on in. We'll have an early night tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all my extra time. I might get turned TV on for the first time in a few days. Not that there's anything worth watching. Unless I'm watching Dylan Joyce's YouTube channel, that is. I don't think he's got any video out today, though. Yeah. After that snafu with the sprayer, Kelly got done. Oh, it was about dark, around 7:30 or so, I guess. She put in a hard few days. I know it's really tough on her body, putting in those real long hours. Plus she's having to, do all the mixing and filling up and handling chemicals by herself. Not to mention how bad allergic she is to the grass here in our cover crops. So I know she's pretty miserable, but she's been a trooper and stuck it out and gotten the job done. Can't ask for anything else. I know there's a lot of other people, both men and women, that if they were in her same position, they would have thrown in the towel a long time ago. Alright guys, last pass of the night. We got the whole front side of this farm done. It is, well, red orange light keeps getting in the way. Right at 10:30. All right, we got right at 155 acres done today. Not too shabby, considering we got a little bit of a late start from having to get everything serviced and moved, and we had a problem with sprayer too. So not bad. We got leaves us with about 40 more acres to get done. Should be pretty easy whenever we can get back here in the field. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna make good use of all this extra time I've got tonight as compared to the last couple of nights. Like maybe actually sit down and have a real supper rather than popping some waffles in the toaster or some hot pockets. Not exactly sure when we'll be back, but I'll be sure to bring you along. Got a really narrow crossing right there. Pretty sure Kelly's really nervous about it. Heck, it makes me nervous. Well, it's the next day. We're back at it. Well, obviously, I'm not back at it yet. Waiting on Zach and Kelly to get something sprayed and crimped before I can start planting again. But we got about 41 acres left to do, and we will have the cotton planting wrapped up. Luckily, we didn't hardly get any rain last night and this morning. Just might have got enough to get the roads a little damp, but that's about it. But I think all of us slept in a little while this morning, trying to catch up on our sleep after the brutal last 3 days that we had, and we're anxious to get the rest of this cotton in the ground and hopefully watch it pop up in rows. Zach just made the first round around the field. They got to make 4 trips around the field before we got the inrows done and I can get started. Now it looks like we got our crimper all fixed up right. Hadn't had a lick of problem out of it over 440 acres so far, so hopefully it'll be good to go for a while now. All right, he got far enough ahead of me. It's time to get started here. $40 acres to go. Should be pretty doable as long as nothing goes wrong. Of course, our track record this spring, that might be a pretty tough call. In the first video of planting cotton, I made the reference that I could smell the honeysuckle, so therefore it's time to go plant cotton. Well, this is what I was talking about. Don't know how prevalent honeysuckle is across the U.S., or maybe it's just a southern thing, I don't know. But this right here with the white and yellow blossoms is honeysuckle. It's actually an obnoxious fast-growing viney bush or whatever, and it will take over fence rows and everything real quickly. Just grows up. But anyway, it starts blooming the time of year when it's warm enough to go plant cotton. That's why I made the reference. And it's got a very sweet smell, a great smell. So basically this time of year is the only time that I actually like honeysuckles. But it's also got another benefit. Here, I'll show you. You can actually eat the honeysuckle, and actually bees feed on the nectar of the honeysuckle quite often. But anyway, inside whatever that's called, the stem of the flower or whatever, it's got a bunch of nectar in there, and it's really sweet. And you can pinch off the end of it. Anyway, you see, it grabs, and you can pull it through, and it pulls the nectar out. And suck that nectar. Extremely sweet. Very good taste. Anyway, it brings back good memories to me, because as a kid planting cotton, of course I was too young to drive a tractor, so I'd sit on the seed trailer and find me a honeysuckle patch and stand there for an hour or so just pulling blossoms and sucking the nectar out of them. That's just one of the joys that we have out here in the country that a lot of city folks will never be able to experience. Anyway, snack time's over. Back to planting cotton. And I don't know if we're gonna get done today or not. Got a pretty decent little shower here. My windshield's getting kind of dirty anyway. I'm gonna clean it off. So I just got out to even my seed out and noticed something. That ain't supposed to be like that. Clip must have come out of that pin and it worked loose. What that is, that's the hydraulic cylinder for my downforce. So that unit's not getting downforce. That means it's not cut into the ground, not putting the seed in the ground. But looky what I found. There's the pin. Now you want to guess how I found this one little pin out of this whole field. That's like worse than looking for a needle in a haystack. Up here, let me show you how I found it. Technology. But first, before I show you, let me put the pin back in. Anyway, the way I found it in very short amount of time, after I saw it was missing, I got thinking, man, I don't know if I got anything on the tractor that can even act as a pin. Like I said, I only got a few acres left. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have to go back shop and make something up. And then I got thinking, my planter measures downforce. It measures force on the gauge wheels. Well, no force was being applied to the gauge wheels, so why don't I look at the map and see where it lost downforce? And that's what I did. Number one, coming this way, you can see it was solid red. That means it was applying maximum downforce, but because nothing was being read on the gauge wheels. But you see the road beside it, when we're going this way, it's reading. And right here we get to the end, you know, all of a sudden it changed. So by logic, the pin came out right here when I picked the planter up and turned around. So that's where it came, and that's where I looked, and that's where it was. All right, we got that out of the way. Well, about 3 more acres to go. Let's get her wrapped up. All right, guys, here it is. We are done planting cotton. The first go around. Notice I didn't say it was the last pass of cotton planting, because I don't want to jinx myself like we did during corn planting. I think I said last pass of corn planting twice. And just give you a sneak peek what's going to happen tomorrow. Guess what we'll be doing tomorrow? Planting corn. So anyway, I'll explain a little bit more tomorrow about what's going on, but appreciate y'all riding along. Hope you enjoyed watching us put some cotton seed in the ground, and we'll see you in the next video.